What's up everyone, Talon from the Airsoft headquarters here and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about my experience with the KWA T-10 and why it has very quickly become one of my favorite rifles that I currently have in my collection. Now my current experience with the T-10 is I've only taken out a couple of times, and for anyone that doesn't know, this is a electric recoil system from KWA. If you haven't seen my review video, here's a little card up here for you to go and check out. If you want to check that out right away, go ahead, come back to this, because I'm going to be talking about my experiences after utilizing this a couple of times, and it has been phenomenal. Hands down, one of my favorite rifle systems that I currently own and will probably continue to be my favorite for a good while. We're just going to talk about that right now. So with the KWA T-10 featuring a 11.5-inch rail system. The 10 refers to the barrel length, if anyone is wondering. I currently have it set up to where I have a Fortis shift grip down at the very bottom here to act as a hand stop, utilizing a in-force flashlight for a tactical flashlight, pressure switch, or even a constant on type of flashlight. I was a little skeptical at first utilizing this flashlight. I got it because I wanted to get this type of flashlight for a while, and I saw it at the local gun store, and I thought, what the heck, we'll just pick it up sooner than later. Put it on, tried it out, and I was kind of like, meh, I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel. And then after utilizing it a couple of times, it has very quickly grown on me. I'm a huge fan of it right now. Especially since I am a more ambidextrous style of shooter, being able to utilize this both left and right hand as far as the light activation system, very, very, very happy with this. The Fortis shift just allows me to grab onto it. Again, I don't like any type of vertical grip system. I don't like to grab just the rails. I just generally have a looser grip on here. And so that just allows me to pull the rifle system into my shoulder as I fire it. Because this is an electric recoil based system, it does kick pretty much as hard as a gas blowback, if not harder in my opinion. But we'll get to that in just a second. On the very end here, I am utilizing a G&G UVT 106 2.0. Again, I did another video featuring the UVT 106 2.0 and some of its competitors, even the previous model, and I really, really like this. Tracer unit, especially with greens, it lights them up really, really bright, so it gets awesome gameplay footage. I took this out a couple of times, not for complete days, but enough that I'll be able to do either a overlay video of gameplay for you guys to view, or I'll be making its own separate gameplay video of the T-10 by itself. Now the rail system here is a 11.5-inch rail system, and for me personally, this allows the most comfortable of extended grip system utilizing a C-clamp, and is currently the shortest length that I find comfortable for indoors that also translate to outdoor base of systems. Obviously something a little bit shorter would be ideal for indoors, and having something a little longer is more ideal for outdoors. However, going with something right in the middle allows for both indoor and outdoor usage. This system, the AEG3 from KWA, also features a quick change spring system, which I wonder if I can demonstrate here really quick. This is something that you will need to loosen up if you do intend to get this out of the box. It will not be this easy in order to get your spring system out. Again, this is something that I do demonstrate on the overview video or the review video of the T-10 that was up in the time card. So this is what the recoil system looks like. It is a very large copper bolt that sits inside of the buffer tooth system and recoils backwards, and that is your internal AEG spring, which again, that's something you can swap out freely once you have the back buttstock plate, or buffer tube plate, excuse me, loosened up and ready to go. Now with this internal spring, I currently have it shooting at 330 feet per second. And even at that lower velocity, generally as you go down in spring tension for spring velocity, you will also end up losing recoil on these systems as well. However, that is something that I have not seen translated very well just in a couple of uses with this T10 here. It has maintained very hard recoil, which I personally am a huge fan of, especially coming from a more milsim-esque style of background. Having a recoil system is really cool, especially since it is battery powered. Now, I do have some of the KWA gas blowback rifles here as well, and I personally have one in my collection that I'm doing maintenance on, so it's currently in parts, otherwise I would show you. In my experience using the KWA gas blowback rifle, it does lose consistency as far as the recoil system with the buffer tube. As that gas gets depleted or as it gets colder in temperature, there's less gas pressure resulting in less overall recoil. Versus something like this remains consistent due to the fact that it is battery powered and will give you the same amount of recoil backwards every time you fire it. And in my opinion, it gives as much recoil, if not more, than a gas blowback system. The way that I know this is because it broke a flashlight on here from AIM Sports and also broke this optic that I have on here. So when I first got the rifle system, I had one of the green AIM Sports flashlights that was 80 bucks. And I used that flashlight across multiple platforms that did not have recoil on them. So it still worked. It was just a spare flashlight that I threw on here to go play for the very first time. And after that day, something with the solder connector points on the flashlight itself had broke. And so every time I had the pressure switch engaged and fired, it would disconnect the wiring system and the flashlight would shut off. And then I would fire it again and it would turn the flashlight back on, all while still having the pressure pad pressed, which was super crazy because if I fired fast enough, I would actually get a strobe effect, which was accidental and it technically was broken. So I just got rid of it, and that's what prompted getting this flashlight, which I have been in love with ever since I got it. This one does not have strobe, but it does have constant on, so I can turn it off and do whatever I need to do. So that's super cool. The other thing that broke was this optic here, and what currently is happening after only a couple of uses with it is that the reticle now bounces up and down like this. Like, it's pretty significant. When I noticed it originally happen, it was a couple times after I was using it. It was in the middle of a game where I was laying down, or not physically laying down, but I was in a corner waiting for someone to progress forward towards me so I could take him out. And I noticed that the reticle was shivering. So I was like, maybe I was just a little too caffeinated, something like that. Maybe I was just a little too much adrenaline in that situation. Didn't think anything of it. And then I played with it again this past weekend, and that thing was bouncing like crazy. And I'm like, wow. It only bounced really crazy like halfway through the day. So that's when I knew through use, it got way worse. And if you follow the channel enough, you know that I am not really the best when it comes to taking care of my items. In fact, wait. You can hear that there's something loose and rattling. That's insane. So something shook so loose inside of this optic, which by the way is not a cheap optic. And there's no branding on here, so I can't remember exactly which optic it is, but I know that I pay a little bit more for my T1 style of optics. Compared to my AIM Sports flashlight, or T1, my AIM Sports T1, which actually has been through the ringer. The very top cap here for adjusting the vertical red dot adjustments. I've dropped this so many times that the cap internal threadings have sheared themselves loose, and now a cap just doesn't fit on here unless I take the one for the left and right adjustments, in which, by the way, I've kept this turned on for a couple days since cleaning my gas blowback rifle. Yeah, by the way, this goes on my gas blowback rifle, and this thing still works. It has taken many falls. Like I said, it's broken. I think it's chipped somewhere else on the very corner there. So this thing has fallen down, has been beaten, but it still runs like a champ. So I'll need to get another AIM Sports T1, and that's gonna go on here as well. And we'll actually replace this guy because this one, something's broken in there, versus this guy, nothing. So the fact that there was so much recoil, it broke this T1. And that's just insane. That's just insane, guys. Another thing that happened is I took a picture of it, but there was apparently so much recoil that the ambi selector screw that retains the selector switch on the right-hand side of the rifle backed itself completely out. I mean, it was only 2 or 3 threads away from completely falling out, so it was a great time for me to actually catch it and make sure that nothing happened to it. Other than that, it's been absolutely phenomenal and been a complete dream. I mean, again, I come from a milsim-based background, and the fact that this thing recoils that much that it would destroy a flashlight and an optic is really, really insane. So far, this in-force flashlight has held up very, very well. I'm gonna utilize it for a couple more games, maybe before I change it out onto some other platform, or maybe it'll just stay on here forever. I'm cool with that as well. And then I need to get a different T1. Maybe I'll go with a real T1 instead of an Airsoft spec of one. Because again, with that's literally blows my mind that there was so much recoil that it worked itself loose internally somehow. It's amazing. Anyway, this has been my favorite system, other than installing a Gate Titan, which was there just to have the same configurations as the T10 Special Edition, which was released by KWA. But I didn't want the gray Cerakote on the rail system or the upper receiver, so I wanted just a straight black with a Gate Titan in there. So purchased the Titan, installed it, and that's literally it. No Type oriented barrel, no boost motor, no shims, no change of air compression, and it shoots a consistent 330 feet per second after I change that spring. I mean, it fluctuates 328, 330, 331. I mean, only 4 FPS from a stock KWA compression system. Phenomenal. A+++++. I am so happy with this T10. I can't even begin to describe how much I love this system. And the fact that it's taken a couple of falls as well. I've had it up lean against the counter. I've even had it on top of a counter on a t-shirt that I accidentally pulled the t-shirt out and the entire rifle fell, and it still works like a dream. Like, I can't begin to describe how much I love this and how much abuse it's still going to take. And I can't wait for it to outlast everything else that I currently have. I mean, this is currently my favorite rifle system that I own. So I wholeheartedly suggest that anyone that is considering picking up a KWA T10 should, in fact, pick up a KWA T10. You will be so happy. I have been so happy, and I know you guys will be as well. So that is currently all of the information that I have of the T10 system and my personal experiences. So if you guys have any further questions with this system, put them down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities. And that's currently it. So you guys take care, stay safe, stay positive, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.